When starting with coaching, there is an underlying fear that most of us have a hard time overcoming. What is that fear and how does it occur? It is a thought or sentence we get to hear from people within a community, our friends and beloved ones, but above all, ourselves. This thought or sentence is: you are a fraud. So, do you ever feel like a fraud, or have you been told that you're a fraud? I'm pretty sure that we all can relate to that. We grow up in a society in which we are on a journey of constant search for validation through the people we are surrounded with or get a chance to engage with. Unfortunately, it's the judgment from society that causes in us the so-called imposter syndrome. Basically, what it describes is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, or accomplishments, and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. Just by this, you can feel the expressed negative connotation to it that comes with it. It's a mental barrier, so to speak. So, how do we get over it? Or better to say, what are some potential options to get past the ever-repeating feeling known to us as imposter syndrome? For that, let me give you a list of things to combat imposter syndrome. As a matter of fact, that long this list is, But the things that I'm going to share with you require a little bit more than just you walking in a room feeling like an imposter and to walk again out of the room on the other side being entirely cured by that feeling. As much as I'd love to give you better news, this is not the way it works. I'm sorry, it just won't happen. For now, let's focus on the points I'm going to share and first take action on them before we explore another time more options, as a million possible options won't help if you don't even practice a single one of them. Makes sense, right? And prior to me jumping to some options to deal with, I want you to know that the people who are not affected by imposter syndrome are neither smarter nor more capable than people who have it. It can depend on the approach a person has to their own achievements. While one may be fully capable and already in business for 20 or 30 plus years, they can still think that they are nowhere further than someone who is occupied with it, let's say, for 3 years. As a matter of fact, we usually tend to even consider us as more capable in the beginning, as the learning curve from the beginning is so much faster, and someone more advanced is it's really so significant and noticeable as we reflect back and really get to understand how much more we know than 1 year ago. The opposite is the case if we're in the industry for so long and have little to learn. Sometimes it even feels as if nothing knowledge-wise has been added for the past 5 years, and we get to nurture this feeling whether we want it or not. So let's jump over to number 1 of dealing with imposter syndrome. Change the narrative. The basic place to begin with, as we set the ground rules for now, is that you understand that the second this feeling gets triggered by a particular situation, a non-imposter just thinks differently. Yes, they respond to the arising feeling in a different way. No magic in here, but let's check how powerful this tool actually really is. Let me ask you therefore this. Have you ever thought about with whom you actually spend the most time with on a day-to-day basis? Every hour, every second, and that for your entire life. That, my friend, would be you. Go in front of a mirror and get a picture of that person who actually walks every step that you go, takes in the same information as you do, has the same emotions, adventures, feelings, up to every thought from the second you are born to the day we are going to die. It's not like I want to tell you that there is another human being every step along the way, but our brain transfers all of these impressions of ours into thoughts that finally end up as the voice that causes that feeling inside of you. Therefore, the next time you feel that a situation triggers this feeling, get aware of it and change the narrative of this impression and feel the magic that causes that empowerment within you. Did someone just tell you that you know nothing about your domain you claim to be an expert in? Great! Tell yourself, awesome! I just identified an area in which I can acquire some knowledge to help my clients even better. Sounds way better than, oh no. How could I possibly think that I can coach people through it if I don't even know the subject myself? It's as easy as that. Change the narrative. Number 2 on the list is tied very closely to the latter point. Number 2 is replay the script. My point is here all about visualization. As a matter of fact, not only the type of visualization we know from professional athletes, you have probably heard about it. Before they engage in a competition, they literally visualize how they walk to the starting point of their particular discipline. They picture every detail about it, their posture, their breathing, the movements, and how they are going to perform them. Literally, just everything. That's an awesome way, certainly, but I want to give you something we get to experience consciously every time we just screwed up. These moments that I have just mentioned before with being aware of the trigger, it's possible to notice them, but sometimes we just understand it a long time after that specific moment has slipped by. So what I want you to do instead is to vice versa, bring yourself back with the power of your imaginations and replay that moment that just happened. But instead of playing the script fully, from beginning until the end, stop in the very second that trigger arises, make a cut, and move from there with the behavior that you would have liked to bring forth, so that the next time it happens, you exactly know what to do. Replay the script as often as needed, and this practice in our head actually is strong as if we really engage in this behavior rather than the one that caused in us the negative feeling. It will become a reflex that you are going to express without a doubt next time, Repeat, repeat, repeat in your head. What I mean by that is, for example, that you just gave your client an entire action plan of the entire alphabet, A to Z. It could sound just like this. The way you can improve your business presence is by creating every day a story on Instagram, a video for YouTube, 1 post on TikTok, and 30 messages on LinkedIn. Then you go to optimize your funnel with XYZ. The thing that you're not good, 5 different areas to work on, one by one, especially in co-creation with the client. So return in your visual mind back to this scenario and cut everything out from the advice section and go for example as follows. Now that we get a better picture on the different areas of your business, where do you think you would need to work first on, and what one action step would dramatically benefit your business. Ta-da! Here it comes with the section that will the next time exactly be played in the presence of a client. Although these ideas may seem to be very connected, to one another, both practices target a different facet of a situation, triggering that feeling of being an imposter and how to deal with it. Number one directed you to change the narrative of the impressions you're getting, and number two get more into revisiting and replaying the script to give it a notion of practice. In essence, it's all about the story you're telling yourself, getting aware of it and replacing it with the behavior a non-imposter would have brought to light. In changing your story, you start to change your thoughts. In changing your thoughts, you start to change your actions. And in changing your actions, you shape your future. Let's design that future in a way that truly reflects our knowledge and capabilities so that we, the two of us, in fact, say goodbye to that feeling of being an imposter. There are a ton of more ways to share, but let's engage in the above mentioned two before we don't even take the first step. With this, we close today's session of ours, and from my end, thanks so much. Really, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you happen to enjoy the content, smash the thumbs up button, turn on the notification bell. Let me know what you would like me to cover in the future, and I see you next time in our next session together. Peace.